Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k Tyranids. We've got yet another video for you today on the 29th of April. There's been a couple of videos now on multiple channels. So now we're going to be talking about the Screamer Killer because they've actually released the Screamer Killer's datasheet on the Warhammer community pages within their articles. So we're going to go through that, kind of compare the datasheet to the old datasheet from 9th edition and see what kind of our predictions of what it's going to do for 10th edition with the information we know so far. So let's get into this. This article is the Tyranids of Leviathan shred the galaxy with claws, spines, and really big brains. So they've released the box set, or the information for the box set, and then we've got the Screamer Killer. It's of course a brand new model, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm loving this model. I mean, I really had a thing for Screamer Killers late 9th edition for Tyranids anyway, and yeah, this just makes me want them even more. Right, this is the datasheet that they provided. Movement of 8 inches, toughness 9. Now we know that the monsters and vehicles have had a bit of a upgrade or a boost to their toughness value for 10th edition. So even though toughness 9 feels really good, for 10th edition it might just be kind of standard. So don't get too excited about that. Toughness 9 is kind of standard. 2+ armor save, wounds 10, leadership 8, and the objective control is 3. Now how does that compare to the old edition? Let's just quickly flick to what we got here. So the movement previously was 10 inches, it's now dropped down to 8, so we've lost a little bit of movement there. The weapon skill was a 3+, the ballistic skill was a 4+, that looks like it's the same if you look at the weapons profiles down there. 2+ armor save is as it was. Wounds, I believe they had 9. The wounds they had 9, leadership 8, not really that important with the leadership, and of course objective control, that's a new thing anyway. Now as for attacks, let's check out what the differences are here. So they've got the Bioplasmic Scream, that's what they had before. It's an assault weapon and it's also got the blast keyword. Now we don't fully know what the blast keyword is yet. In 9th edition it was good against hordes, but it was bad if you were firing into engagement range because you simply couldn't fire it into engagement range even though this was a monster model. So you have to wait and see what the blast keyword actually does. Now previously it was only D6 attacks, it now has D6 plus 3 attacks, so we're getting an extra 3 attacks with that. Not too bad at all. Strength 8 as it was, minus 2 AP, so it's lost a bit of AP. Now we know AP is going to go down slightly because of the big AP reset. This is a good thing, even though it's bad for this particular model. In the grand scheme of the game, it's actually a good thing because AP just went well out of control in 9th edition. So minus 2 AP is all it is, and 1 damage is also what it was as well. Now as for the Screamer Killer Talons, they originally had 10 attacks in 9th edition, they still have 10 attacks now. The weapon skill is still 3+ as mentioned. They are strength 10, which is kind of crazy because in 9th edition they were only strength 6. So they've gone up by 4 in terms of the strength. Now okay, we could have had the adrenal glands, we've had options of the Behemoth High Fleet, we could have got it to strength 8, but strength 10 as a natural standard is pretty wild. But again, it goes back to the whole toughness argument, like lots of vehicles and monsters they're being pushed in terms of toughness. So you've also got to do that in terms of the good weapons that were made to kill tanks, vehicles and monsters anyway. So that also needs to go up, and that's why they are strength 10. The AP is minus 2, previously it was minus 3. Again, AP being reset is a good thing, and the damage is 3, which has no change, which is good. So yeah, so far so good. I think it's actually pretty decent, to be honest with you. The small arms fire is going to struggle to take this thing down with the toughness of 9. But this thing is still going to be able to take down the bigger stuff because the strength of the weapons has increased. Pretty good. Keywords, Monster, Great Devourer, which I believe will be a detachment ability, and Screamer Killer, which will possibly relate to a stratagem or some sort of character buffs. We've then got Deadly Demise, which I think is virtually the explode ability, or Death Throes, which was what it was commonly known in Tyranids for 9th edition. If it does get destroyed, it's going to explode and cause 1 mortal wound. Only a small explosion there. It's got the Synapse as the Synapse is the faction. We don't fully know exactly what that means yet. And the unique ability is Death Scream. So in the shooting phase, after the model has made its shot or made its shooting attacks, select one unit hit by one or more of these attacks. That unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the test. Now in fact, only this morning I've just seen this kind of ability. It was with the... what's the new Space Marine unit that we did this morning on the Space Marine channel? Basically the Flamer guys. The Inferno Squad, that's the one. The Inferno Squad with the Pyro Blaster kind of weapons. That unit also has this same kind of ability, forcing an additional battle shock test which is, if you're not familiar with what a battle shock test is, it's basically a morale test, but it's done in your command phase. There is no morale phase anymore, and you don't lose models, you simply just lose certain abilities, such as having your objective control being knocked down or something like that. But this is forcing it to happen in your shooting phase against an enemy unit that was targeted by your attacks. So yeah, I don't think that's the best ability. Now don't get me wrong, once we start playing 10th edition and once we get into the swing of it, we may find that these kind of abilities that look a bit mediocre may actually be really good. So we just kind of have to wait and see on that one to see if it does anything. But for me, at a glance, I'm not that keen, not that impressed with Death Scream. So something else worth noting about this datasheet is, well, the war gear options. We've got a severe lack of war gear options in all the datasheets that they've provided so far. I don't believe we're going to be getting any war gear options, just to simplify the game, I suppose. So again, we're talking about adrenal glands as the spore cyst, the toxin sacs. I don't think we're going to get any of those options anymore. Also, some of the abilities are lacking now. For example, Armored Ecoskeleton, which was a -1 to the damage. Are we getting that anymore? Probably not. What about the Blistering Assault ability? When you're making a charge move, you could add 1 to the attack. So are we getting that? Probably not. The Terrifying ability to knock down their morale? Probably not. And what about the Monstrous Brood? I mean, how many models can we take in a unit of Carnifexes? And will they be split up before you actually start the game? On deployment, do you get to split them up? Again, we don't know. There's also, in fact, another thing, the adaptive physiologies, which was quite a key thing for 9th edition monsters, where you can add an additional physiology to your monster models and give them, for example, the dermic symbiosis for the 4+ invulnerable save and things like that. I don't think that's in there either. So we're going to have we're going to have much less options in terms of how we customize our monsters and the rest of our units in the Tyranid faction and other factions as well in the game. So that's the only Tyranid datasheet that they've revealed today with this article. There was a couple of Space Marine ones which we've released on the Space Marines channel. If you weren't aware, we've got a Space Marines channel. You'll find that down in the description below. So if you could kindly subscribe to that, that will really be a massive help supporting Planet 40k in general. But other than that, guys, all that is left to say. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.